Hi guys, my phone is almost out of battery, so I'm going to try to make this quick, but you know me, I'm like really thorough and sometimes I make long videos that I want to make them 3 minutes and they end up being 8. Anyways, this purpose of this video, just so you know, is really that I'm showing you how to use your Haines 2.0 on the winter setting. So the stuff I'm making, you've seen before. If you've seen my videos, I'm making a loaf of bread and a big pot of soup. So anyways, I want to show you the difference in the winter setting. If you look in these corners, you see that all the blue snaps are snapped this time. And just to see what the difference is, this is the summer spring setting. So see how the red snaps are snapped in the corners? So that's the difference. And the reason is because in the spring and summer, the sun is higher in the sky. So it needs to be more bowl shaped like this. Whereas in the winter, it needs to be tilted lower to capture the sun's rays at the optimal range. And it does make a difference because I noticed that the first day of fall was just a few days ago, and I was able to bake everything cooked better today than it did a few days ago when I tried to make salmon cakes and not tried, but I made salmon cakes and salmon soup on the spring summer setting, and it took a little bit longer, and like if you remember, the potatoes were not cooked all the way. So I'm wondering if maybe if I had gone ahead and put it on the fall winter setting, if that would have alleviated that, and or what I said about those potatoes. I don't know about them. Anyways, so this is what it looks like from the side. You can see it's tilted more forward and down. And also, one other note is if you look at this plastic, the clear plastic covering here on the outside, that top layer, it's a clear plastic film. It doesn't fit as well on this setting as it does in the spring summer setting, and Mr. Haines knows that. So this is what he did. He includes these two little black clips that you can clip that clear plastic screen in. I don't know if you can tell. There's tabs on either end of the clear plastic. You can see right there, there's a slit in the oven right there, and then there's a slit down here. And the tabs fit into there, and you can clip them on either end, and that keeps it in place. If you don't have those clips there for the fall winter setting, the clear plastic slips down, and there's a big chance that it could start to melt because of the heat. So yeah, you want it to be on top to contain the heat, but you don't want it to melt. All right, then I just wanted to show you this, that even though it's 10 degrees, maybe 10 or 20 degrees colder than I have been cooking, the temperatures, the ambient temperature that I've been cooking in, because you can see there are no clouds on this particular day, yeah, the temperature doesn't matter. And if you listen to my first few videos, I mentioned that I had heard other people say that the coldest temperature recorded using a solar oven is 40 below 0 Fahrenheit. So you can use it in really cold temperatures. It has no bearing on the ambient temperature. What you want are these direct sun, no clouds, or as few clouds as possible. And because this day was particularly sunny, everything cooked really quickly. All right, so I'm making chicken gnocchi soup, and it's very similar to soups I've made before, but just to go through the ingredients briefly to give you an idea. I'm trying to zoom in. Okay. I used 2 packages of potato gnocchi. These are from Dollar Tree. And then a container of bone broth. I don't know why I have olive oil in this picture because I didn't use olive oil. And then a bag of carrots, and then 3 to 4 frozen chicken breasts, which in retrospect I probably should have thawed, but it really didn't matter because it cooked just fine, but it probably would have cooked a little more if I'd let them thaw first, but I didn't. Anyways, a little bit of almond milk and chives and bacon and celery, and I grated this half a block of cheddar cheese. If you remember my last video, I made this salmon soup and I grated half of it then. So this is using the other half. And 2 onions that you can see one of the onions is already sprouting. So it's time to use it before it completely disintegrates. Okay, anyways. All right, so what I did is first I combined all my non-sauteing ingredients in the pot and like this, and then I set it outside. And the reason for doing this is because I had the bread in the oven right now baking, and I wanted that chicken to get as thawed as possible before it went in the oven. So I set it outside to heat it up a little bit while I went inside and I fried the bacon. I poured off most of the bacon grease into a container to use for other projects, and then I sauteed my celery, onions, minced garlic, which was not in the picture, and some chives, the prior picture. I sauteed those, and then I added the bacon on top just so I could have it all in one container, and I added it to my pot. Now I will say another thing to note is see how full this pot is? That's probably not a great idea. I think everything would have cooked a lot more quickly if I had left a little more space in there. However, after 3 hours, everything was cooked, even the chicken was cooked through, so it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I think it would have probably been a little better had I not added what I grew up in a family of 6 and we did not have a lot of money, so I'm used to like adding extra liquid into things to make it stretch farther. And it's just a habit, and I don't know why I did it. Like after I added the bone broth, I filled up the bone broth container with water, and then I added that in too, and I should have just not done that. Anyways, whatever. I don't know why I do these things. I don't think sometimes. Okay, so I switched out the bread and put my soup in. Okay, so just to give you a time frame, I put the bread in around 12:30, and then I did the old switcheroo around 2:30. And so the bread baked for 2 hours, which actually I probably could have pulled it out at an hour and a half just fine. But I don't know, for some reason in my head, this is my first time using the fall winter setting, and I was like, oh, what if it doesn't cook as well as it does in the summer? Maybe I should just give it a little extra time. But that's the whole point of putting it on this setting, is you're capturing the sun's rays at the optimal range. And as long as you're capturing them at that optimal range, it doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. The sun's rays are hitting it is exactly the way it's designed to hit. So anyways, if that alleviates any of your fears, if you're worried that things won't bake in the winter as well as they do in the summer, they will. And so stay tuned, because I'll be trying to cook through the winter as well. I'll have to think of some new things to make because I'm starting to tap out on all my ideas. Okay, anyways, I wanted to show you this because my bread recipe apparently is just a little too big for this pan, and this always happens. I always get a little overflow while it's baking, and then it makes this little biscotti shape. And then if you can see, the sides of the bread are hanging over the side of the pan, and I end up cutting those off. So that's what we use for toast the first night, is the little biscottis before we even get into the loaf of bread. All right, so here is after 3 hours. So it cooked from 2:30 to 5:30, and you can see it's nice and hot. It has all the steam coming off it. I meant to take a picture of this and I forgot, because I only have 2 hands and I'm taking pictures with, obviously I need my hand to take pictures. So anyways, what I do because right now in this little picture right here, the chicken breasts are still whole inside the pot. So what I do is I get a plate and I get 2 forks and I fish out the chicken breasts onto the plate and I shred them and then put the shredded pieces back into the pot. And so I wish I'd taken a picture, because I wanted to show you that the chicken was not at all pink. It was cooked completely through. So I meant to do that because it's better to show people than to just tell you that it cooked all the way through. But anyways, just know that it will cook your chicken in 3 hours, even if it's a frozen chicken breast. So don't worry your pretty little head. And here is the finished soup with 2 little biscottis on the side. And it was very good. My husband liked it. So, all right. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.